everybody on Krakoa wants Steve Rogers, but nobody wants Tony Stark, but Tony Stark wants everybody.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Seconded, thirded. It is law. Where's the gavel? Can we gavel it?
Yes, it is. It is law. It is done. It is written in stone. Welcome to Simply Amazing, everybody. Hello, I am Lisa, aka the OG Nocturne. That's Nacht with a German word for night. That's Nacht, Ern. And I am one of your hosts, and I am here today with the lovely, the fantastic.
What's up, guys? I'm your friendly neighborhood by Lauren, and yeah, I have thoughts today, and I know Lisa does.
We got thoughts.
Where are we having thoughts about today?
We're if you can't tell, that's the People's Court theme. That was terrible. We're going over Trial of Magneto number 4, and I don't know. I feel like this is an issue where a lot happened, but nothing really happened. You know, that's
nothing happened in it. Like when I read it, I was just like, huh. So this was like a filler episode of television. Like
it felt very like I guess, I mean, it's like a penultimate issue where, I mean, the next issue is the last issue, but I don't know what is left, I guess, to tell. Oh, well, we need to find out who killed her, right? So
yeah, or as she said, who attacked her. That's very specific too. She doesn't say. Oh, by the way, guys, spoilers. Sorry.
Spoiler alert, guys. By the way,
yes. She doesn't say. Oh, I know who murdered me. She says, I know who attacked me. So that's also an interesting word choice there.
That's true, but it's just. I mean, I love Wanda, and I'm always gonna love Wanda, and I'm always gonna say, like, Wanda is the Britney Jean Spears of the Marvel Universe. She has been made to do a lot of things that I don't necessarily think were in her best interest, or things that she necessarily would have done. Everybody puts House of M right at her feet, like it's her problem. Like she decided to do House of M, like she decimated everybody on her own. But you know what, guys? It was not her. It was Pietro. Go back and reread it. He did it, and like nobody's freaking giving him any shit about House of M, but it's all about Wanda. But anyway, that's besides the point.
Not to play the cell block tango, he had it coming.
He had it coming.
If Pietro ever gets it, Lisa's gonna come in here like that.
Oh my gosh, they both reach for what they got. Oh gosh, we do not need to go into Broadway. We just do not need to go that far. Like we'll get there.
We always need Broadway. This is a Kurt this is a Kurt podcast. Broadway.
That's true. R.I.P. Stephen Sondheim, who had nothing to do with Chicago. But anyway, anyway,
it's true though.
Yes. Anyway, so just going into the book, I mean, I don't want to do this page by page. I don't want to do anything like that. Like,
no, it's just not worth it at that point.
Essentially what we're kind of doing is this book is kind of filling in the gaps of story that we've already been told, because we're going back in time and we're looking at, when the Kaiju first attacked, because we have to relive the moment that freaking Kyle has to find out that beautiful Camus he's uncorked, and that gorgeous prime rib that he was saving for the holidays and that he's taken out of the freezer because he knew Captain America was coming, are going to go to waste. So that is very depressing to me. Like, poor Kyle, like he's like, oh my God, the Avengers are coming.
It is a poor Kyle.
Yeah. He's like, the Avengers are coming. Like he stripped the beds. He got those 1,000-count Egyptian white sheets out because he was like, Steve Rogers is coming to my house. Mm-hmm. Like, we are pulling out all the stops. Like
that man's ass needs to feel good on those sheets.
Oh, 100%. He pulled out like the scented and like the little toilet paper sheets that you can put in the little little thing that heats him up and makes him scented. He got those in the little bathrooms for Steve Rogers. He was like, I'm going to make this man fall in love with me because I want another husband. That's what Kyle was thinking to himself. That's what Kyle was thinking. And because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but this podcast ships Kyle, JP, Steve Rogers. So
I think, I think it'd be a really fun running gag to do where like everybody wants Steve Rogers on Krakoa. Like you got Emma, you got all these people thirsting after him, and it's just like a thing where everybody's trying to pull him, and like he's oblivious to it all. He's just like, oh wow, everybody's just so nice. All these mutants, and they're all just like, we just want you, sir. We want your ass. We want everything else about you.
I co-sign that 5,000%, and I want to add to that everybody on Krakoa wants Steve Rogers. But nobody wants Tony Stark, but Tony Stark wants everybody.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Seconded, thirded. It is law. Where's the gavel? Can we gavel it?
Yes, it is law. It is done. It is written in stone. We have made it. If I could knight somebody, I would knight somebody right now. So yes, absolutely. Anyway, going back to the issue at hand. I know we just spent however long talking about a throuple that has nothing to do with anything.
Absolutely worth it. That was one of the best parts of the issue.
No, totally. Like poor Kyle. He's pulling out the best. He's like, Kyle is like, I got this case of wine the last time we went to Napa, and it's been a while since they went to Napa. He's like, I'm pulling out all the best ones. He got the Silver Oak out. He's like, I'm gonna get out the best reds. He uncorked them early because he knew the importance of letting them breathe, people. He knew he had to uncork them early to let them breathe. That is why they're going to go to waste now.
There's a euphemism there. I just want to point that out. There's a really great euphemism in just what you said.
I just can't. Kyle is a consummate host. You know that when Kyle throws a party, you are going to have the best freaking time of your life. You know, when Kyle throws a party, there's a theme. You know that and the theme is optional. He's not going to make you do the theme, but if you do the theme, he's going to love you for it. And It's going to be to the nines. And it's just, and every detail of his party is going to be to a T. It's going to be perfect. So that's why it's like, he's got the Avengers coming to his house. He's like, I am pulling out all the stops. I'm getting all the best wines out. I'm uncorking them early, letting them breathe. I'm going to even put, he took out some Marlborough County Sauvignon Blancs. He put them on ice. Those he didn't open though. Those we can save. Unfortunately, the reds, he's going to have to drink them. I'm sorry, Kyle. You know what? Call Allie Blair. She'll drink them with you.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah. Allie will come over. She'll drink them. Call Fred Dukes. He'll eat the meat. We'll take care of it for you. Kyle, done and dusted.
Kyle, you deserve a break. Kyle, take a break. We got you, fam.
We got you, fam. He needs some International Delight coffee. That's what he needs. Remember those International Delight coffees?
Mm.
Oh my gosh, that's what he needs. He needs to sip. Okay, we need to actually talk about the issue now, don't we?
I mean, at this point, I feel like I do not have any alcohol with me right now while we're recording this, and I feel bad because I feel like I need alcohol to get more into what didn't really happen here. Like, it really just felt like, I mean, it was about Wanda, which should have been a good thing, but it was just like, why? I didn't like the approach that was done with this issue. And I know, we talked a little bit before we started recording this, Lisa. I know you said some stuff about editorial thoughts that you had or that you thought how editorial pitched into this and how different things happened. What were some of the moments where you were like, that was editorial that came in and said, do this?
This is my opinion of how I feel like it shakes out, because we all know that, Leah's been pretty clear that I'm sorry, like a quick thing. I just put my hand in front of my mouth as I was speaking into a microphone. That is so stupid. Anyway, Leah's been pretty clear that, she had initially pitched this as an arc in X Factor, and then Marvel wanted to make this something bigger, which is fine. I understand that. Listen, Scarlet Witch is one of their big properties in the MCU right now, and I'm never going to throw shade at a business wanting to make money off of their intellectual property. Like, that's what you do. So yeah, so I get why they would want to, make a bigger event out of it. I personally feel like the story Leah's trying to tell is the story between the three Wandas and like kind of the reconciliation of her past, present, and future, the things she's done, and how to move forward, and reconciling that with like the mutant race, I guess. Um, and we're going to find out more, of course, in the next issue because there's still another issue. I think all this stuff with the kaiju is added. Like, I think what it is half of it is like, we want to tell a story with Wanda and we want to kind of reconcile all this BS that has been going on with her character over the past like 15 years, and finally kind of put an end to this pretender stuff that's been going on. And the other half is like, but we also need to include the Avengers. And if we're gonna have the Avengers there, we need them to do something. Like, we need them to do something. So we might as well have some kaiju show up that they can fight the kaiju and like all. So I feel like that's. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but that's how it feels to me, because it does feel very much like two different kind of stories that, especially in this issue, they kind of converge at the end where Wanda's comes back and she helps them fight the kaiju. But it feels like two different stories for most of the book. And then, like I said, comes together. But I'm interested to see how they're going to finish it. I'm interested to see, who did kill or attack Wanda in the end. What was the situation? What are these, like, what are the little hanging plot points that we haven't had answers to? Are we going to get answers to them? That's my big thing. My big thing too is, like, again, I love my Nightcrawler and Scarlet Witch. We all know that in Way of X, he was seen in the room with Scarlet Witch and Magneto, and I'm like, why? Why was that there? Why was that there if it wasn't supposed to be? I don't understand. Like, so again, I'm just like, I'm trying to understand what the point of some of these decisions were if they weren't supposed to pay off later. So, that's basically.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you on the, excuse me, on, like, yeah, the kaiju stuff is just, it was so random, and kaiju, and they're all like, oh, well, you manifested this, Wanda, and I'm just like, really? Like, this is your big exploration of Wanda's character and her, like, learning to forgive herself and stuff? It's like this, like, really? I don't think it was well done, and I don't know exactly who to blame. My biggest thought is that it is editorial, because originally, this whole event was originally supposed to be different, and it was supposed to be an X Factor event, and then editorial said, oh, Leah Williams, so we're going to use your event, and it's going to be a whole X-Men event, and also, oh, by the way, we're cutting your book. And that just seems like this was no longer hers. Once that happened, it was no longer Leah Williams' story. So who can even say how much of it is, how much of this is what, Williams originally pitched? I mean, only she can, right? But I'm interested to see who did it. I do think at this point, though, with how this issue went, I think it's going to be pretty disappointing. Like, I think we're going to be like, that's it. That's all that happened. Like, I feel like it's going to be a letdown now.
I don't know. I hope not. I don't like to speak ill of anybody or any creators. Like, everybody's doing their best, and everybody is, they're doing what they can with what they have. I think Leah Williams is a phenomenal writer. I think she does a great job. I don't know what is not hitting the mark for me right now with this. There's a couple things. But again, I'm willing to see what's going to happen. I'm willing to see what shakes out in the next issue. What bothers me too, though, is I am someone who I really like Wanda a lot, and Wanda is a character who has gone through significant trauma, guys. Like she's been through a lot of trauma. This is before House of M and Decimation. So I don't love, as part of this, it's like her children are screaming at her as she's going through this trauma. It's like, this doesn't feel like a very healthy way to actually get through it. It's just all of it seems very like, like, I don't know. It just, all of it just doesn't seem healthy. It just, It
I
just seems, I don't know, it bothers me. It bugs me that it's like, this is how we're going to deal with this woman who has serious trauma and instability issues. We're going to scream at her.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think actually a point you said earlier, I actually liked it, and that, and it's probably mostly because of the MCU and that character's popularity there, but this could very well lead to this character being like Wanda actually getting some growth after all these years, her getting a better characterization than she's gotten in decades and stuff, and not just being the pretender and the one that is treated poorly but is actually a victim, but nobody cares she's a victim. Like, she can actually move past that possibly. And even if this event might be rocky, and let's say the fifth issue is a letdown by the murder or whatever, hopefully it's not, but let's say even if it is, if it still results in Wanda being able to move past this shit and actually get better characterization and be a more respected character in the comics again, and be able to grow and stuff, I'm for that, because I'm so tired of Wanda being that character that is, wow, everybody hates me, and a lot of people do hate her. Then somebody says, oh, but we care about you, and then she's like, but woe is me, and it's like, oh my god, she needs to get out of this. Like, she needs to be able to move past this and to actually process her trauma and stuff. Like, come on, like, let her grow, please, God.
She was the archetype of like the hysterical woman for such a long time, and it played further into it because like she was also like a witch archetype, which
Yeah.
in itself is the archetype of the hysterical woman. So like it's just like she just has like trope upon trope upon trope laid on her, and then you add on top of it, these characterizations that are given to her that are like antithetical to what superheroes and superhero comics can do. Like they decided that she would become a mother and she would have children, she would settle down, she would have a husband, and it's like, well, that's not something that can happen in superhero comics. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those babies away. And it's interesting. I actually got into a discussion in a different Discord channel about the amount of comic book characters who have had their babies taken from them. Is absolutely staggering. And and by that I mean any comic book character who has just been pregnant and then is no longer pregnant. So it's like either they miscarried, aborted, or they had the baby and then the baby somehow is gone. Like the list, we couldn't stop listing characters that this happened to, because the problem is that writers end up writing themselves into a corner with this like, now they have a baby. Well, what are we going to do now? Well, we're going to have to take the baby away. We'll set it to the future so it can become like, Cable, or we'll kill it, or, oh no, the baby's actually a demon shard of a soul who's not actually who cares? I don't know. They'll just come up with some kind of excuse. And when it comes down to it, it just doesn't feel like those stories are, they're not good anymore. Those stories aren't acceptable anymore. We need to do better. We need to, if you're going to tell a story like that, then you got to like commit to it. Like, just like if you have a child, you're committed to that child for 18 years. So guess what? If you're going to tell a story about a kid in a comic, well, guess what? That person's got a kid now. So deal with it. It's like Jubilee. Jubilee's had Shogo for how long now?
Yeah, no, and that's all a very good point. It's interesting how this became such a Wanda-centric event. It's not exactly surprising to me, but it is interesting because, again, it's called Trial of Magneto, and Magneto hasn't been on trial. Like, there was the bit in the first issue, and then like he's not really been, like, you got people being mad and stuff still, but it's gonna be interesting with the reveal and seeing if this event really has any significant impact on the future, or if it was just a, look, we did an event, guys, look at that, yay, kind of event,
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the thing is too is that, again, if the purpose is not to make Wanda a mutant again, then what's the point of doing this story in the X books? I don't, like, that's, because here's the thing, we're going to tell this story and then she's going to go back to the Avengers and then, but
well, it's interesting. I think they have to make her immune in the end, or she's going to become some way still tied to the X-Men again, because again, this is called Trial of Magneto. It's and they've already established basically the familial bond again between Eric and her again. So that's been established, even if they're like, well, is that by blood? Who knows? But that has been established. So I'm interested to see if they're going to actually allow that familiar bond to continue, if they're actually going to be like, hey, by the way, like, no, that's her actual dad. Haha, we're gonna go back to the original retcon that people actually like and that makes sense. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I can, I will say, like, Leah Williams is definitely trying to play with very specific archetypes in this. She's playing with like the pagan archetype of the triple goddesses, of the maiden, the mother, and the crone, which is very, very, very clear. Which is also an archetype of the fates, which is why when she says spin the wheel in there as well. So, which I appreciate that. I really appreciate the use of that. The one thing too, I have one like mini critique is like when Billy is like, I've defended you my whole life, Mom. And it's like, oh, well, you only like met her like what, 2 years ago? So, I mean, I wouldn't say your whole life, but okay.
I mean, even if he didn't know her, he could still defend his mom. Even if people are like, your mom kind of sucks. He's like, well, I haven't met her, but I think she's the best because she's my mom. People are like that. So,
yeah, well, he didn't know she was his mom until like Young Avengers, right? So like he was like, it's like. So I'm just saying it's not his whole life. That's all I'm saying. It's like, yes. Calm down, Billy.
He's being an over dramatic young adult. He is. Yeah, he is definitely down. Hyperbole. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't think this event is big enough to make Wanda immune again, if that makes sense. Like, I would love for it to make her immune. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm all for it. If they did it next issue here, I'm happy as a clam. However, I think if they're going to do something as big as that, because that is a big deal, particularly for the X-Men, because she is, quote, the pretender, blah, 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 all that crap. I think it needs to be done in a bigger event or in some bigger instance. So it'll be interesting, especially because Trial Magneto is time-wise before Inferno, correct?
Yes,
and that is important to note. So potentially, depending on what happens in this issue of Trial Magneto, that could tie into future Inferno issues, which interests me far more than the actual last issue of Trial Magneto myself, because who wrote Inferno? Hickman. So, and he's the big long form guy. So I'm not saying there is, but there could be something there that comes up.
That is true. That is very true. I'm looking at the final 2 pages too, and it's like, first of all, I did not realize that was Magma. I thought that the artist had drawn Doug very feminine. I was like, wow, Doug looks very feminine. But now that I look at the next panel, I see boobs and I feel stupid.
Bro, you were like, Doug looks feminine, but he looks really good this way too. I'm not sure what to do with that.
I know. I wonder if Faye's into it.
There's absolutely nothing wrong. It's fine. You can pretend it's Doug with boobs. Absolutely. There can be more feminine Doug. Who cares?
Sure, why not? I just thought it was. I just was confused because I was like, is that Doug? I don't think it's Doug. Is it Doug? Who else is it? Because I just forgot Magma was a thing. So, you know why I forgot Magma was a thing? Because I was never a New Mutants person.
Right.
Like a reader. So really Magma for me is X-Men Evolution Magma, who is brown skin with dark hair. Yes. So like I don't like blonde, blue-eyed Magma does not compute for me at all. Like I don't see that at all. I'm like, that's Magma. Never mind. No. So
mood. Yeah. Overall, this issue was just, it was there. I think it's going to be interesting to see if anything significant actually happens in 5. And I think this has me thinking more about Inferno, especially after, and we still need to talk about this in another episode, especially after they announced Destiny of X coming, which I am very excited about. I'm very vindicated. I've been telling everybody that Destiny is the queen on this chess game. She is everything, and all these X-Men fans, y'all are not talking about her enough, and I swear she is literally everything, and there is my full proof. Thank you. I'm ready.
Destiny is everything. She is here. She is there. She is the past. She is the present. She is the future. She is all three of
you know how you said
goddesses.
you know how you said that that Wanda's like your Britney Spears in your head. So
Yes.
I feel like this may not be the best comparison, but I think it's pretty good. I feel like Destiny Irene Adler is like the Meryl Streep. She is past, present, future. She can do anything, anywhere, anytime. She is the moment.
Meryl Streep's good. I would have been like Helen Mirren. Just to
Helen Mirren's also good. I agree with that.
To age her a bit more, give her a bit more refinement. Not to say Meryl's not refined. Meryl's fantastic. If you love Meryl Streep and you haven't seen Death Becomes Her, my God, one of my absolute favorite movies. Starring Death Becomes Her. Okay, hold on a second. Anyone out there, if you're a Jean Grey fan or an Emma Frost fan, you gotta watch Death Becomes Her. It is basically Jean Grey and Emma Frost, but in a movie. It's a blonde woman and a redhead fighting over a man who doesn't deserve them.
Literally, yes. I haven't seen this, so now I will be watching that.
Oh my God. It's Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn, and they're fighting over Bruce Willis, and it is one of the absolute classics. I think I saw it in the movie theater when it came out with my mom, and I think my mom probably was like, when we watched it, was like, "Ooh, I should not have taken my daughter to see this," because I was probably like 11. And there's like a scene where Isabella Rossellini like comes out of a pool, and the only thing covering her boobs is like jewels, and it's like, oh,
amazing.
Yes. Oh, it's
Iconic.
such a good movie. This is my recommendation, guys. You read Trial of Magneto, it's okay, but definitely watch Death Becomes Her. It is absolutely fantastic. And one of my favorite drag queens, who I actually went to college with, Thorgy Thor, who was on RuPaul's Drag Race, did a phenomenal Death Becomes Her drag of it as well. So take a look for that.
And that is the official Judge Lisa ruling of this episode. Trial of Magneto is there. It's okay. But this movie, important.
Yes, that is true. So anyway, well, thanks guys for coming and listening in. We covered some of the issue. We definitely talked about some stuff. So,
we had Doug time again. Unintentionally, Doug came back again.
Yeah, Doug.
We had Kyle time.
We had Kyle time. We had Doug time. I love it. I love to talk about Kyle. I feel like we're definitely going to talk about Kyle more on this podcast.
We're going to have to do a Kyle episode at some point. I can feel it. Kyle's coming up.
I know, and I just like how, because like that is so not Nightcrawler related at all. You know what?
It's okay. Kyle and Kurt would be best friends. That's how I'm making it happen. Next question. No, yeah,
we're gonna find it. You know what? Kyle and Kurt would be best friends, because you know what would happen after the issue where Nightcrawler and North Star ended up helping Anole or Anole, however you say that stupid name, where they were helping him and where we got our name from. They would probably go back to like wherever. They weren't living on Krakoa at the time. I don't know where the hell they were, but they would go back and like Kyle would be like, "How'd it go?" And North Star would be like, "Ugh, don't ask me." And Kurt would be like, "Oh, it went fine." And then like Kyle would be like, "Well, tell me about it." And Kurt would like tell him the whole story. And North Star would just be like, "You know what? Stop. Just, can you just like stop talking to my husband?" And that's how Kyle and Kurt would like become friends. And North Star would hate it. North Star would absolutely fucking hate it. He would like Kurt would come by to pick up Kyle, and they'd go to like karaoke together, and and JP would hate it.
Yes. I mean, listen, it's not Kurt's fault that he's so good with the men and women and everybody in between. It's just not his fault.
No, but it's okay. But Kurt doesn't want to fuck Kyle. It's fine. He just wants to hang out with him.
Exactly. It's just not his fault. He gets along with everybody.
Exactly. And you know what? Kyle doesn't want to fuck Kurt either. He wants to fuck Steve Rogers.
What? Gavel bang.
All right. So on that note, guys, maybe we should officially now move on. Well, thank you guys again for coming, for listening. It has been fun. It has been real. If you like us, if you love us, if you enjoy us, please rate, review us, follow us, do whatever the hell you have to do to us. I don't know. Poke us, whatever. I don't know.
That worries me. Guys.
Listen, I only follow podcasts on Apple, so I have no idea how it works on other sites. I don't know what Spotify does. I don't know what Stitcher does. I don't know what Google does. I only know Apple. So whatever it is on the other ones, just do the way it works. That's how it is. Yes. Thank you, please.
Just check out our website, simplyamazingpod.com. Is that it? Yes.
Simplyamazingpod.com. We're also on Twitter. Yes, we're also on Twitter. We're Simply Amazing Pod, but without the A. So it's Simply AMZING Pod. Same thing on Instagram. We got Night Scrawlers on Facebook. We are all over the place, ladies and gents.
Boom, boom.
But if you want to find the main thing, it's at the simplyamazingpod.com. We got a Discord, we got a blog, we got everything you want. We're gonna start going back in time. You know what? We're gonna start a chat. We're gonna start like an AOL chat room. Remember those with the ASLs?
MSN coming through too.
Oh yeah, we're gonna start our own thing. We're gonna do one of those post-it boards. Remember those old post-it bulletin boards back in like the 90s?
We'll do, it'll be like MySpace, but we'll do Kurt Space. Yeah, we're gonna have it all, guys.
Kurt Space, I love it.
If you're young enough to not know what MySpace is,
oh my god,
how?
You know what? If you're young enough to not know what MySpace is, that just means that Tom's not your friend. So, and go look it up. Well, for those of you who have listened and enjoyed, well, thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget that you and everyone around you, but specifically you who is listening and thinking to yourself, who the hell is Tom? And starting to Google Tom from MySpace. Well, look it up, find out. You are simply amazing.